In this video, I'll talk about how I took this first freshwater tank and turned it into a Walstad tank. So this was my first ever freshwater tank. It was a 7-gallon rimless tank by Aqueon, and I turned it into a planted shrimp tank. The tank was very successful. I had shrimp breeding in the tank. I had a nice population of shrimp. The plants were healthy, but one issue I continued to have was that I was having hair algae. So in my novice ways, I did a large water change and collapsed my shrimp colony. This led me to consider the Walstad method, a method that I'd heard from other planted tank keepers. So I headed to the hardware store and got some potting soil and some play sand. I added about a 1 to 2 inch layer of potting soil, moistened it, wet it down so that it would not float to the surface, and then continued the same thing with the sand. One thing I did find out later is that I used the wrong kind of sand. Generally, it's suggested to use a higher grain sand. Play sand is very fine. So that was something that I learned later that I probably shouldn't have done that way. So this is the tank setup. I added some trident fern and also some Anubias species and my beta big blue. Unfortunately, I did not plant this tank heavy enough. So I decided to rescape the tank. I added some corkscrew vallisneria, also some Heliacus cuba. I plan on adding more stem plants to the tank. I also added some gravel to the sand and mixed it together to give some aeration to the substrate so that the roots could reach down into the substrate and to the soil. Finally, I added some floating plants, such as red root floaters. As you can see, the trident is looking a little rough. I'm hoping that these changes will help. I plan on adding some more stem plants to the back sides to increase the amount of plants in the tank. I almost forgot to add that I did add some Java moss to some of the wood in the tank. I added a small hang on the back filter to the tank. I am hoping this helps improve the plant health in the tank. So I understand it's not a pure Walstad method, but hopefully this will improve the health of the plants.